BORTLE here, back from. Oh shit! Hold up. What am I back from, bro? Oh my god. Oh, okay. I got this. I got this. All right. BORTLE here from the online format. We have here Sebastian Crawford with his insane Plunder Patrol deck. Apparently, it's the Dryton Slayer. My goodness. And he's actually used this in past LCS events of the online format. What's up, Sebastian? Welcome to the channel, man.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
So man, obviously, this deck had somewhat like major hype, when it was announced, and it has a few like new cards ever since, and there's going to be additional support in the near future. So why do you keep playing this deck, man?
It's just really fun. So I really like TCG exclusive archetypes for one, because people can't really scout the deck. You kind of just have to play it and learn for yourself. Uh, so I liked that aspect of it, but also they're pirates. That just sounds really fun. So I just stuck with it, and I learned that it's like meta viable. So I'll say that.
Well, before we start this deck profile, man, you have any shoutouts?
Couple shout outs, definitely Team Playmakers. I've been with them for like almost 8 months now, since like the middle of the summer, a little bit before that, I think. And then Douglas, Doug, he's another guy that plays Plunder, that I talk to a lot. He actually was the first person to show me that like it can compete with meta, and that was way back when Eldritch and like rocks were just starting to become a thing. So that's when I started playing the deck. So everything that I know, I kind of started learning from him. So
Well, without further ado, please take it away with this deck profile, man.
we have three of all of the pilots. That's just I think is standard. I've seen some people like not want to play the Bluebeard. I don't really know why. He's a free extender. Golden Hair, she's really good. She starts a lot of your plays. She's the best normal summon in the deck because she's a one card Blackbeard. You just got to pitch her. She locks you into plunders after you use her graveyard effect, but she's a really solid card. Other than that, Redbeard and Whitebeard, these guys can play on your opponent's turn. Whitebeard being the better one because he can float. When he's sent from the hand or the field to the grave, he specials from the deck. The last Plunder Patrol monster that's not really a Plunder Patrol monster, it's Gamma. The reason I say it's kind of a Plunder Patrol monster is because when you use it, you don't ever want to use it on your opponent's turn unless you have to. And if you're doing it on your opponent's turn, it's usually not the best. You want to try and save it for your turn, so that you can use those pieces to make Braun. So Gamma acts as a Plunder Patrol name when it's used on your turn. For instance, you like pitch for the field spell or Monster Born or Desires or anything, you can Gamma, and then now you have a Plunder Patrol monster, which only having 12 right now until Raven comes out, it's kind of limited. So,
What are your thoughts on Raven, by the way, the one that's about to come out like later in the year?
man, Raven's so good. It was like everything the deck like needed, aside from like the extra deck stuff it's missing. But I was preaching for a Wolf Bark for, I don't know, as soon as I started playing this deck, it just needed some sort of recovery, and they gave us a better version of Wolfbark. It like literally, you can make your big play. You can put up Toad and Blackbeard and stuff, and at the end you still have like more fodder to keep going. On top of that, if you're in a simplified game state where you're kind of top decking, this deck doesn't have a lot of cards that can just normal summon and then get all its resources back. It really needs like kind of two or three cards to get going. Raven kind of fixes that problem because it adds a card from the graveyard back to your hand, as well as specialing itself. Um, and that's really strong because, like I said, it just adds that resource back.
Oh,
So
nice.
Raven's really good. Yeah, it's a card that we really need and have been missing for a while. Like I said, I'll talk about Droll in a minute. There's some other cards I want to get to first. Emblem. I play this card at two or three. It just really depends on how I'm feeling on the format. Really like this card. It does is it equips and it gains 500, and then you can't target it, but then it can send itself to the graveyard. Then whatever monster it was equipped to, it special summons from the extra deck an attribute that like your opponent has in the field or graveyard, and then it equips the monster it was equipped to that monster. So it's basically like a free level up. You don't have to use two monsters to make Blackbeard or any of the other guys. You just use Emblem. It's really good. Droplets, I just think it's like super necessary for the format. Uh, Not even just for like negating effects, but this is a very like high control deck, so the battle phase is very important for the deck. So being able to just make a lot of monsters pretty small can usually lead to game on board without people realizing it because there's so many different cards that boost these guys. So droplets is very very important for the deck, and you can send like Redbeard or Whitebeard or whatever is equipped, and it'll leave as cost as a monster. Therefore, they can't respond with monster effects. It's really really good. Monster Reborn, I think it's the best extender. Even once we get Raven, I still like Monster Reborn a whole lot. It's one of the only cards you can draw off of Blackbeard. And when you're hoping for like a plunder, because sometimes you get in these situations where you don't have a plunder in hand to discard, so you need to use Blackbeard and kind of gamble a little bit. So when you draw Monster Reborn off of that, it's like, okay, if they can't kill me, at least I can start to play next turn. And then the fusion spell. I'm not going to try and say the name of that card because it's like really hard. But the fusion spell is very useful, not even just for using it to fusion summon with, but its graveyard effect is just so crucial. Three of it's necessary just because, like I said, you want to draw plunder cards when you need to, and it's one of the better plunder cards. But its graveyard effect, you can banish it from the grave and attach any plunder monster or emblem from your deck, and it nets you a lot of free advantage. But I like to use it specifically for plays involving Shipyard, which is the field spell. When it's in the graveyard, it can target a Plunder Patrol equip, and then it resets itself from the graveyard. So basically, the play a lot of the time is to, the fusion spell into the graveyard, banish it, equip whatever monster you need in your hand, bounce the monster back to your hand, and then reset the field spell. It's really, really good. It's like a pseudo search. It's interesting. So again, yeah, the field spell really good. Obviously, three of desires. I'm playing two right now. Sometimes I'll play as many as three. Sometimes I'll cut it down to one. I don't think it's necessary, but sometimes you banish all your resources in grind games, and it's not always like helpful against decks you like really need to be grinding against, especially like trap decks. Terraforming because the field spell's broken. So Plunder Patrol Booty. This is the first continuous trap I'm playing. Most people that play Plunder play this card and know about how good this card is. Basically, it's once per turn Call the Haunted, as well as changing your opponent's attributes to the ones you need, so you can special from the extra deck. However, it does leave the field during the end phase if you don't control a Plunder. So a lot of people don't know that, and what's funny is they'll actually like go through their whole play and they'll make sure they like make that extra play to get rid of this card after they've cleared my whole board, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know, smirking at them because it's going to leave the field anyway. But it is a really good card, very useful in the deck. It's hard to resolve sometimes, but once it gets going, it's usually like putting your foot on the gas. Like you're usually not losing if you're resolving this card a lot. So the next card, this is kind of a new card me and Doug have been talking about. I've been playing it for a little bit, and then he made the suggestion today to add Droll and Lockbird to go with it, and I thought that was a great idea. So I've been using it not so much as a dust shoot at first. At first, I was just using it to send my opponent's monsters from their extra deck, so I can start setting up attributes as well as kind of interrupt them as they're like making these combo plays. If I know they're about to make a needle fiber or they're about to make VFD and I know they're only playing like one or whatever, I can send whatever that card is. So if we flash back to like 2015, actually, Mind Crush got really popular against Necros, and it's kind of I was using it similar to that. So you'd Mind Crush like whatever mirror they were using or whatever ritual spell they're using. There was always a monster that went with it, and it's kind of the same idea. So you want to just be calling the cards that you know is going to put them in the worst position. A friend were playtesting. We realized how broken that the first effect is because it's a dust shoot, and it makes them draw a card, which is important because Droll and Lock Bird right now is so good in the format, and it eats Dryden alive. So if you can basically take their best card out of their hand, then droll them to where they can't search anymore. It's really just so good. And this Pride of the Plunder Patrol card is searchable through the field spell and through Mork, the extra deck monster. So it's really, really easy to search. Obviously, Droll and Lockbird isn't searchable, so but the card performs pretty well without Droll and Lockbird. I was playing it before I added Droll, so there's really 14 cards in the extra deck that should never change. My 15th card for this version just so happens to be Mud Dragon because I'm playing Super Poly in the side, but my side deck, I would say, probably isn't even up to date. So Mud Dragon's kind of my flex spot. Let me talk about Mud Dragon for a second because he's really cool with the deck. Is attributes. So using cards like Emblem, which needs attributes in either my graveyard or opponent's graveyard or field, Mud Dragon's really good. And it's also a level 4 water monster, so it just has a lot of utility if you can use it. Back in the original days, I was trying to play 3 instant fusion because I thought it was the best extender. So the standard 14 that you should always play, 3 lists is super mandatory. Out of any of the other cards you can't cut, you cannot cut lists to 2. That and Blackbeard, I'm sorry. Because lists and Blackbeard work together. List's second effect specials from the spell and trap or hand. And why that's important is because Blackbeard can special summon lists. So basically, it's an endless loop. Black summons lists, list summons black back, and then you keep getting to draw cards and plussing off of Blackbeard because list is able to keep recurring Blackbeard. List is very, very good, as well as it being a monster negate. So I didn't even mention that. But yeah, so it can negate monster effects and search cards as well. Braun, he gets rid of back row as a quick effect if he's equipped with something. He also boosts all other fiends on the field by 500. So again, like I said, this deck can make your monsters pretty big without your opponent really realizing that. And Braun helps do that. So it's a synchro, and if you noticed, Whitebeard and Golden Hair are tuners, and the others are not. I'm pretty sure Raven is not a tuner either. So that's important to note. That's other than having your opponent have a fire attribute in the grave. It's really hard to get Braun out because synchro summoning isn't very. It's a neg 1 really. You want to be making Blackbeard if you're using 2 monsters to make anything. So it's not great to have to use to hard make the Braun. The only times people really have fire attributes are if they ash you or I don't know if you're playing like Invoked and they didn't banish their Mirage for Maximus or something like that. But having 2 of it's nice because if you burn through one and you need the other one, because it can be like a goons out, like I said, because it can boost and stuff. So you kind of do need to play 2. Shark and Toad, I feel like it's kind of obvious. There's a combo going first where you just you summon gold, you reveal Bluebeard, overlay for Shark, detach Golden Hair to make Toad. Then you bring Golden Hair back and use the Shark and Golden Hair to make Blackbeard. So then you have a Toad and a Blackbeard off of 2 cards. Yeah, and those 2 cards are going to get you more cards. So Toad's going to get you another card. Blackbeard's going to get you another card. So just really, really strong combo right there. That's the bread and butter of the deck. Orc, very, very powerful card. Quick effect can banish things. Also, if you hard make it, which again, it's not doesn't happen a lot, just like Braun, but when you do, it has a really, really good perk, and that is it can protect all plunders on the field by detaching instead. So it doesn't activate. You can't really negate it unless its effect is already negated, and it just does a whole lot for the deck. If you need to like live like just one turn, like say I don't know, you got VFD and you can normal summon and then reveal and special, you can just make a Mork. It's sometimes enough just to like live to see the next turn. So Mork's really good. Also, I didn't mention this, but Braun, he searches for monsters whenever he banishes a spell or trap, and then Mork searches for spells and traps when he banishes a monster. So, and then 3 Blackbeard. Blackbeard is like the MVP, and the only reason that this deck is viable. If I could, I'd compare it to like Ritual Beast Kanahawk. it's just is always gonna loop itself. It's always gonna plus you. Like hitting the board is already a plus. Like if your opponent reacts to it first, it can tag out into anything in the extra deck. Usually, most decks are playing all the attributes. Potentially mind control your monster, and then use my plunder and then make it. So that's really strong. I mean, you can normal summon Droll and Lockbird, anything. So Blackbeard is really easy to make, really free to make, and it's always plussing you cards. And then the last card that's super important to play is Mirage, because that's the play starter with Golden Hair. If you don't have anything else in your hand, like if you don't have an extender to get another monster, Golden Hair can summon Blackbeard by itself by just making Mirage and then using her effect in the grave. So that's the idea behind Mirage, and it happens at least once a match, so it's very, very necessary.
Pretty solid explanation, and that mini combo you explained earlier is pretty decent, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. And we cannot wait for that new support, that crow thingamajiggy, that wolf bark, man. Oh,
Man.
man.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, they better not open events back up, because I haven't gotten to play in a YCS yet. So if that card comes out and they announce a YCS, look out, because that card's insane. I'm telling you.
Well, with that being said, thank you again for being on the channel again, and yeah, this deck's pretty much gonna take over once we get that new card, and it's pretty decent right now, guys. So make sure to stay tuned for some more Plunder Patrol support, and thank you again for being on the channel, man.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. I always love coming on your channel.
And listeners, if you're not a part of BORTLE Nation, suffer BORTLE. It's that easy and it's free. Oh God, yes. BORTLE out.